Happy Saturday. Are we sick of that intro song yet? Hi, Kelly. Good morning. Good morning. Moon's over her hammy. Hi, Sister Lynn. How's everyone? Hi, Sister Deb. Hi, everyone. So it's Saturday morning. It's really awkward. I'm always so early for my own show. What's the etiquette? Can I just jump on when I'm 5 minutes early? Because I literally just sit here and like start working, and I don't want to work on a Saturday. I know a lot of content creators actually go late. Maybe they like don't even go into their studio until 15 minutes after. Maybe that's the problem. I'm kind of showing up. I show up way too early and then I'm like, am I supposed to wait before I start? But it's my show, so I started. So we're just hanging out. Another snowy Saturday. Cyber Chick in Boston here, my command center. What was that? Did you hear that? Is that my phone making noises? So I figured we'd chat since Jess is a last minute fitting for her daughter. I knew everyone would be hanging out, having coffee. So I thought, why not? I'm a new channel, so welcome to those on replay or those here for the first time. Oh my gosh, I keep hearing. Oh, you know what? It's Skip. I'm watching Skip on my phone. I forgot. You know how Skip is so quiet? Oh my God, this was so funny. I could hear someone breathing. Honest, I'm not even lying. It's Skip. I I'm like, "Why do I hear somebody?" I forgot because for a long period of time, Skip doesn't say anything. So I just kind of forgot that it was running. Well, I'm glad I figured that out. It's not my command center. It's not the boogeyman. It's Skip. Skip, we'll come see you later. Yeah, thank you, Kelly, for hanging with me. I figured we'd all just oh my gosh, I'm so sick of the snow on a Saturday. The past 3 Saturdays, I've had plans canceled because it's just and it's not like a blizzard. It's just annoying. It's very annoying to me. But anyways, I started to say I'm a small channel, started in October. We're growing though. We're growing every day. I'm really happy with the numbers. We are over 1,000 subs. So thank you to everyone who joined. Initially, and we're going to talk a little bit about starting a YouTube channel and the focus and what my focus is. My focus initially, I wanted to get the word out about the cults. Hey, Genuine, thank you. And then it evolved into, that's my story, my family story. But I also liked going live, and I'm always been a mentor to women in technology. So I'm sort of adopting that role in YouTube land, where we have come to find out there's a lot more male content creators. I think I said 72% of content creators are males. We're going to change that. And the other thing I like to do is current events, and I like to share my family. So I have my sisters on Tuesday nights, and some of them love it, and some of them don't. Hi, Lynn. I'm talking to you. And then I also have my nieces on once in a while. I think they're popping on tomorrow. So that's my channel. I appreciate you being here in my command center. Before we kick off, I'm going to share something with you. I have wildlife cameras, so we back up to a conservation pond. It's a beaver pond. It's not, when I say back up to it, there's a steep embankment, so it's not like it's part of my property, but it feeds a lot of wildlife. So my brother-in-law started it, Scotty. He's probably out there. Hi, Scotty. He started with wildlife cameras. It was amazing to us. So that's the black bear. I actually didn't catch that on the camera, but I usually do. He strolled through our yard last August when I was on the front porch with my husband, gave us heart failure. And Thursday night, I think it was Thursday morning, actually, we had a visitor. There probably won't be any sound, but you can just see. Hello. Isn't he cute? He looks so healthy. It's a foxy. We love our cameras. So every time I get wildlife, I'll share it with you. We have had bobcats. I've only had 2 bobcats, I think. My brother-in-law, who is literally Scott and Lisa, probably 3 or 4 miles from us, but he lives in a field where there's a lot of rodents, I think. Like, they don't live with rodents, but that sounded horrible. But they just back up to a lot of fields, and they get a lot of bobcats. They get black bears as well. So it's really cute. So I'll share those with you. Thought that would be fun. Hi, Dora. Hey, Tay, AB, I don't know, Toe. I'm gonna butcher some of these names. Sorry. Yeah, that's my fox. So that's what we do when, I use Arlo. I know I'll get this question a lot. The Arlo camera system used to be my favorite, and that's again what Scott introduced me to. Hey, Rhonda Hanks, thanks for joining. Yeah, the deer are insane. Kelly, we get so many deer, and they attack us. So you'll hear stories. I'll share the stories in the spring. There's one psycho deer who is very protective of my property, and sometimes she doesn't let my dog out the front door because they're vicious. I didn't know this. Deer can be mean. They can stomp you with their feet. So when you run into them and they start pawing, I'll call you Tay. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of stumbled over that. When they start pawing at the dirt, you wanna back away from them because 'cause they're about to stomp, and they kick you and they stomp you. And I think she's psychotic. She has chased my neighbor, she has chased me. My sister's called the police because she thought I was getting trampled in the woods once because I was talking to Lynn, Sister Lynn, that you all know and love, and I said, "The deer is following me." So I was on a trail with the dog loose, and the deer was following me in a parallel trail, but was cutting me off, and I was scared, and I said, "Oh my gosh, she's coming at me," and I threw the phone and ran, and all Lynn heard was was stomping. So she calls the police. My sister is being attacked in the woods. Oh, Lynn, you have to tell this story. You tell it much better than I do. So long story short, my neighbor sent her son in to find me. At that point, I had made it to my other neighbor's back deck, and then I had to go get my phone, so I made Brian, thank you, Brian, for helping me. We went and got my phone, then I had to call the police, who, by the way, did not come looking for me. So, but she's got her babies, Kelly, in the woods near our house. But no, she's psychotic. So there's just one that I think she's on the spectrum because she just is such a bully. Like, I don't bother your babies. I support your babies. You don't have to worry about me. We're friendly here. Oh, your husband puts corn out. We used to put on a really bad in 2015 when the blizzards were so bad, we were feeding them. But then they just come and they're everywhere. So, did everyone have fun last night at Jess's? If you went to Jess's show, I had concerns. Okay. Dear is so pretty, Rhonda. I know. Grab your coffee. We're gonna chit chat. I had told my husband we would do a movie night we usually do on Fridays, and Jess was doing her closet thing, and I'm like, "I'll just pop in." But you know what? That's not for me. And I am not a snob. This is gonna come off as a snob, but I've never shopped in a secondhand clothing store. And it's not because I have a ton of money, and it's because I'm a germaphobe. And I am so much of a germaphobe, I won't rent books from a library because I know where those books have been, and they're not coming in my house. When the teachers sent home the animals, like the pet of the stuffed animal that goes from house to house, I'm like, "Okay, he lives on the front porch, Kyle. He's not supposed to come in your bed." I mean, germaphobe. So the thought of what she was doing was, "Hey, Erin, welcome." I was like, "But they're your clothes, and they're clothes that were owned by the whole thing, but it was so much fun. I'm almost tempted to go to Savers. I've never been in my life. I don't think I will. That's a lie, but, um, I can't possibly I can't possibly do it, but I admire you women. You wanted it. You was like, I wanna go to bingo with you guys. I wanna go play poker. I wanna go to a casino. You guys are savages. You guys were serious. Georgia Jules, rural middle Georgia here. This cracks me up. I have dogs with radio collars, and the deer know where the dogs can go when they stop. Oh, yes. Yeah, we have an invisible fence for Prince, but we don't actually need the collar anymore because once he got zapped, he just was like, I didn't like that. I'm not gonna leave the property. But they come on our property. So that's not good. Hi, Noodles Mama. And so it was so much fun to watch everybody and a couple of things. And I know we were saying it in the chat, but I think it depends. So there's different ways to view the show. Some people, most people aren't on a PC, but if you go to your PC, I think that's the most efficient because as soon as for typing purposes, it seems to be faster. The TV is slow and then the phone is good too. But you're going to see different tabs. And I know some people were like, I'm first. And you have to have either live or all comments, depending on where you're viewing it from, what device you're on. And, just know that it was really, it was honest. It was honest. We did our best and it was fun. It was a lot. I was surprised at how much fun it was because honestly, I did not think that I would do it. So your phone is quicker than the computer. That's so funny. Is your computer on Ethernet? Because mine's faster, but I think it's because I'm on Ethernet. Magic, every time I see you, I'm like, oh no, I'm behaving. It's so good that you come in here because you make sure that I'm totally behaving. I am so drama free. It's not even funny. It's boring. But I did think just as well. I couldn't, so I had to tell my husband at 8. I'm like, I'm going to stay shopping in our closet. I'm not going to watch the movie. And of course, my husband's just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Hi, Princey, come on. You can come in. Hi, you got to push it open. No, he's just standing out there. He'll barge in. Hi. All I see is a black nose sticking through. Yeah, so, so no one be mad. It was just for fun. And I'm sure you'll get clothes that have been owned by 25 other people soon enough. We'll have another opportunity. There you are. Good. Oh, you're wet. You were out in the snow, huh? Are you cold? There's Princey. I would show you him, but then I'd have to rearrange my whole camera system, and I don't want to do that. Yep. We're the fastest internet. My husband works in tech. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so that was really fun at Jess's house. I don't know how she pulls off those things because it sounded like it was going to be a disaster, but it was. And don't be upset. Plenty for everyone to do. So a couple of people have reached out to me, which is fine. I don't mind at all. We did a show. Lisa and I did a show. My sister, Lisa, and I did a show Thursday night on our careers on cyber. And I think, and it's funny because, I always look at the data. That wasn't highly viewed, but I think it's a very niche topic. And I would just ask if you have, and I'm not doing this for views, but this is where the reason I did it is I had multiple people reach out to me in email asking me questions. And now I have it documented and I can just say, you know what? A good place to start is February 5th. We did this show. So you'll be able to just go back and look at it and refer. So if you have a college graduate, a high school graduate, it's not a bad idea just to give them an idea to have them watch that. Thank you, Kelly. I think confidence comes with age, honestly. You just don't give a shit anymore. And you've seen so much. I wish I had the confidence I had today when I was 30, because then I would have handled a lot of my work things in life differently. Oh, look, and all you people won too. Look, I'm seeing, I think everyone in here, like a lot of people won. Did I miss Ben Rosa or you just, see now I don't know if Ben Rosa is actually in here. Someone told me not to read the chat, that it was distracting to them, but I want to read it. So that goes back to starting a YouTube channel. I think I got distracted. When you have, so if you're reaching out to me on Twitter or Instagram, I apologize. I'm just finding those messages. I have a lot of privacy settings that prevent people from finding me, which in hindsight, I feel bad because now I'm like, for some reason, I'll stumble over a message that was sent 3 weeks ago. So I'm not ignoring anyone. My email, when I started this channel, I set up an email, Cyberchick in Boston, because I was going with Cyberchick in Boston until people told me that was too many words for a YouTube channel. But my email was already established and I have 4 emails right now. I didn't want a 5th email because it's hard enough to have 4. So it's in my show notes. But I know people don't know that if you go up, what I mean by show notes, if you go up to a content creator's description of their channel And so you go up to the channel, you hit more, and you're going to see all sorts of information, what their URL is, any information they want to share. And there's a picture icon of an email, the envelope. If you click on that, you'll find my email. But it seems like people are having a hard time. So I'm going to put it in. Best place to reach me. I'll get back to you right now. Maybe at some point it'll be overwhelming. Prefer not to give my phone number out. I've talked to a few people this week. That's not, if you know anything about when I mod for Jess, not my preferred mode of communicating, because I don't want to get another cell phone. I have 2 for work already, and I can't give out my work number, and my personal number is very personal to me. So I just prefer if we can communicate over email. That's ideal, but one-offs are fine. I get it, but I'm not going to blast it out to everyone. And if you do get my email, my number, please don't share it. I would appreciate that. Some of the things people were asking me about were they want to start a YouTube and they're not sure where to start. Hi, NH Birkenstock. Hi, Metally. You guys have complicated names. It hurts my brain. I am going to read the chat while we're going through this, because that's what makes it sort of entertaining, especially when you're small. So it's sort of what I found intimidating about doing it was, and Jimmy said this, he said, you just have to go live the first time. And I dragged it out. I didn't want to click the button. But what I think would help if you're thinking about going live is, hold on, I'm getting a text. I know that's rude, but I want to make sure it's not my kids because they were coming over today and I told them not to. Okay, let me tell. Bay Harbor Beauty. Let me tell her I'm live. Maybe she'll pop on. Bay Harbor Beauty went live yesterday. So I'm going to drop a couple of links that I want you to go sub, because we really have to start supporting women. But it's really a good idea to understand what you want to share and get across to your audience. Because the first time you go live, you might get, thank God for my family. I had my family plus a few. So I had maybe 16 people. And I didn't know how to do the comments, share, and I look back at it and I go, God, I had a lot of balls. I went live and did a 40-minute show on a cult. I wish I had just gone live and said hi, like Julie did it last night for Bay Harbor Beauty. She didn't advertise it. She just got on with a few of us. That's what I wish I did. Just got on and said, hi, this is my name. Always tell your story, Cyber Chick in Boston. People want to connect with you. So the more you're willing to share about yourself, it kind of establishes that connection. But you also don't want to just come on and give it all away right up front, right? So you want to tease. And you also want to have a couple of things that you want to get across. Well, this is me, by the way. Some people just get on and are very comfortable just going right over watching a trial. I would love to do that. I find trials so boring. I like summaries of trials. So I love Brian Enton or Lawyer, people that are willing to just, oh, here she is. I was just talking about you. I was texting you on live. I told everyone you did a great job with your live. Julie, I wish I did that. I wish I got on and just practiced and had a short live, but no, I jumped right in. So, I look back at that. I won't make it private because that's, I think, adorable. That's just who I am. And it's out there for everyone to see. But I wanted to get out there and really talk about the cult. So that's what I did. But it's the other helpful thing that helps me is, how during the course of the day, you think of things that you want to talk to people about, and then you get on and you're like, I have nothing. I don't know if this happens to you. I have to write everything down. So I have a notepad, everyone does on their phone. I just keep notes and say, like, my Fox, I want to share my Fox. I may not have remembered that, but it helped me that I had it in my notes. I know this is all like really basic, but I'm helping people who are starting a YouTube channel with this. I tell my sisters to do that, but they show up with nothing. I don't know. Sisters out there, I'm calling you out. Write things down in your notepad. And then when we show up, we've got everything. You didn't come across as nervous at all. Bay Harbor Beauty came across great. She just did it. You did it. Like, the first one is the worst one, and you did it. Oh, Janelle watched it. You watched it. We're going to talk about that today. The other thing so the notes are really helpful to me. So right now I'm just looking down to go, okay, what else did I want to talk about? I don't always talk about, oh yeah, I don't always follow up on DM. So take notes. Yeah, I'm just reading my own notes because that's what I do. I just kind of run through it. But it's always nice to start out, even if you feel like you're repeating yourself. I often will have people say to me, "Oh, you your family was in a cult?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's how I started this." But the first time showing up. So I always give a recap. My niece was in a cult, Twin Flames universe. We fought to get her out. And I don't think people mind hearing it all because half the time they're not listening. They're chatting with their friends in the chat, which is fine. The other thing that I struggled with was what's the best time to go live, right? I and this is personal for everyone. I'm in awe of Rat House Media and all the people that stream. They start their streams at 10 or 11 at night because I get up at 4:30 every day. So that's impossible. Hi, Zach. How are you? Nulu Mama, I'm going to drop everyone's channels in here, so don't worry. So it's good to see you, Zach. I totally forgot what I was saying, but what was I saying? Hold on, let me look at my notes. Oh, time to go. So of course, I ChatGPT what's the best time for a YouTube channel, and it came back with Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 4. Well, I work, so that wasn't going to work for me personally because this is where I work all day. It's hard for me to leave, go do other things, and then come back at 8 or 9 because it feels like work. But it's just nice to end my day and kick on. So times that work great for me probably are horrible times, right? Because it's dinner time, 5, 6, 7. Those are the times that I gravitate towards. I was at the beginning doing lives every Friday, lunch lives. Fridays, if there's a slow day for me, jump on with my sister Lisa, and we would do it at noon. And that was actually a good way to get into it. J7 won big last night too. Baker texts us in every night. Love it for us. I know the time change is crazy, right? Um, Amanda says, I feel Lynn watches 6 News. She does. She watches the 6 o'clock news. She's our news correspondent. So anyways, those are things that you have to think about. Plus, you don't want to go live when it's someone else's time. Although I don't really worry about that because I'm a small channel. So if Jess goes live right now, she's going to get 5,000 people right away. I'm always going to have around 100, 200, which is fine. I like my small little channel. But you kind of think about it. So you want to think about that too. And then I talked about the boundaries with the email. Probably a good idea to set up a separate email so that you can, because people do want to connect with you, and that's a good thing. That means they're liking what your content, they're making recommendations. Okay, so now I'm going to share a couple of content creators because I said I would. We're going to start with Bar Harbor. Oh, wait a minute, I have to go to YouTube. I was going to share your channel. I was going to share your actual website. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. Hold on. I'm going to do it from my phone. Sorry about that. For some reason, I like doing links from my phone. Hi, Skip. We'll get to you. Don't worry. So the first one I'm going to share is Bar Bay. There it is. Everyone go and subscribe to her. Boom. Okay, that's the first one. Now, the second one that everyone's going to go to is our very own funeral lady who is putting her channel together. Hasn't gone. I think she's done an intro. Let's go to funeral lady. There she is. These are the two that I'm asking everyone to sub to today. Let's get the subs up for them. By the way, I hate looking down at my phone. I'm going to look back at this and cringe, but that's okay. Okay, good. Sub away. Sub away. Um, I don't know why. Okay. Amanda says, I've only started watching the news since Nancy's been missing. Where's Nancy? What's going on? Can anyone tell me? I watched Brian Ensign. He was going live during the night. Like they got the reporters out of her street. They backed them up. So something's going on with the spotlight. That was in the ransom note. They towed her car. What's going on? You know, what's going on? Of course, Moons. We want to support everybody. There was a second ransom note. I'm upset. She's 84. What's going on? Who's taking an old lady, an old woman that like what why? Like rob her? It doesn't seem to be money motivated because they would have sent a ransom directly to the family with money. I mean, I don't know. Um, you know, I love I love this name, despite the look on my face. That's phenomenal. I mean, right, it's a red herring, and I don't wanna even go there with the family, like, "Ooh, so J7 has scoop, kidnapping insurance." Is that a thing? By the way, I didn't do my hair yet, so it's a mess. I put lipstick on so you wouldn't notice that my hair was a mess. Okay, what is this? Cover up. They weren't using a spotlight because of a light ordinance in the community. I don't know. I'm worried. I feel sick for the family. I mean, think about your elderly neighbors or family members and it's just awful. I'm upset. I'm upset. Alini, justice served, had a video posted this morning with that Jolene, I think her name is, that was former FBI. What'd they say? I didn't know this. All celebrities and CEOs have kidnapping insurance. So you think that that would be in the ransom note, wouldn't it be? It's upsetting. There's our Ocean Beach. How are you? And you won too. You were very generous last night, offering to give Jay 401 or vice versa. You guys were all great. You all very nice. I didn't get to win anything, but I didn't want to. I almost wanted the pocketbook. That was a nice pocketbook. Yeah, it's been 7 days. Is there any chance they had her medicine though? I mean, I'm always thinking like, is there anything positive? Oh, okay. I know what else I want to show you. Hold on. The other day we were looking, I was sharing Jeff and Shalia. Let's go back to the cult. So I'm gonna switch back for a minute. So I always look at what they're up to. I used to do it when Brianna, okay, let's back up. Happy Saturday, Brandy. Let me back up. If you're new to the channel, we were part of the Amazon documentary, Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames. My niece, Brianna, was the the Boston person that was stuck in the cult. She's out, we're thrilled, but this channel is to educate people and to keep an eye on Twin Flames universe and the investigation. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, because what I do is I follow Jeff and Shalia on Instagram, and you guys know that I follow them to see what they're up to. And they bought a new car. They bought a Rolls Royce and they flaunted on Instagram yesterday because that's what they do. And Jeff wrote, "We are so provided for. Love yourself. Overflow onto others. Repeat." And then all the minions said, "Yay, we're so happy for you. You took our money and bought a Rolls Royce." This is ongoing. This is like probably car number 7, although we think the Porsche got repossessed when Avery Haynes was there. This is what they do. They take your money and they buy expensive things. Jeff and Shalia are the gurus, the leaders of the cult, and we do not like them. I accidentally watched the documentary on Netflix and couldn't find your niece. Yeah, so there was another girl from Mass, and sisters also joined. No, so we are on the Amazon Prime one. In 2003, there were 2 documentaries that came out within a month of each other, I wanna say. They're both excellent. The Netflix one is called Escaping Twin Flames, so it's confusing. The Amazon Prime documentary is called Desperately Seeking Soulmate: Escaping Twin Flames. That is also in my show note descriptions, I hope. I thought I put it there. So oh, and then you watched the correct one. She is beautiful, sorry, I just went through all that. She's so beautiful, and she's beautiful on the inside, and we're so happy she's out. We're so happy. Yep, they're driving around in a Rolls Royce. Yep. So what we're gonna watch next, I noticed hey, KY Heather, good to see you again. What we're gonna watch next is and it just popped up on my feed, but it was from 7 months ago, but I had never seen it, and I thought, "I'm gonna watch it with everyone because we talked about when they raided the FBI when the FBI was it the FBI? The DA it wasn't the FBI, it was the DA raided their compound. So let's take a look at that. And I'm gonna remove that. That's the other thing when you're starting a YouTube channel. It's kinda clunky on StreamYard to do all of this, um, sharing, but once you do it, you do get used to it. So we're gonna it's sidebar. Um, add it to the stage would help. That's not what I wanna add. There's a process that you have to follow that I did not just follow correctly. So let me see. I don't want oh yeah, I do want that. Twin flames. All right, I'm gonna add it. If you can't hear it, you can yell at me and let me know because I'm gonna start it right now.
Accused of coercion, financial exploitation, and spiritual manipulation, these self-declared spiritual gurus are facing potentially serious legal heat. We're going to break it all down right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey everybody, this is another Law and Crime legal alert. If you received Depo-Provera birth control shots and were later diagnosed with a brain or spinal tumor called meningioma, you may be eligible for a law and is investigating claims that patients weren't properly warned about this.
Sorry about that. I'm not used to commercials.
Well, things are certainly heating up in Michigan, where state and federal authorities have launched a sweeping investigation into a controversial online group that is accused of manipulating its members. The target? It's Twin Flames Universe, or TFU. This is this online spiritual community that claims to help people find their ultimate romantic partner, their soulmate. But behind the promises of love and divine connection, there are disturbing allegations.
So I probably can't help the commercials because even though it's on YouTube and I have premium, some of these have commercials because that's how they make money. And I did see a question I want to get to, Magic. What age do you start talking to your children about these things? I think, I don't know. I would like to eventually go to schools and have this dialogue. I would think high school, honestly. Maybe middle school, though. It depends what their maturity level is. And to me, personally, as a parent, depends on their access to the internet because you don't always know what, we think that we have an idea, but we never have an idea. I say that as someone who has 2 adult sons, and now I know the truth. But you don't know when you're going through it. So it's a great question. If anyone has any suggestions or ideas, I would say as they're getting on to when they get a cell phone, right? They're going to have access to anything. It's a good idea to just mention it. I always suggest young teens should watch the documentaries. It's an eye opener for them to realize that because you always think something's wrong with the people that are joining cults, and it's not. No one sets up to join a cult. No one knows they're joining a cult. They just get sucked into it. I saw Colby Ryan yesterday, and if you know Colby has a channel, he is the son of Lori Daybell. And for some reason, I think anything that's related to cults just goes into my feed, and I do follow him. He had such a heartwarming discussion yesterday about the cult that he was involved in and how he survived it, and he went deep into that. I reached out to Colby via Instagram. It's the only DM I could find for him, and if he's like me, he'll never see it. So I have to find an email for him because I would love to collaborate with him. Everything he said was 100% true. No one joins a cult. You just fall into it, and awareness is the best thing we can do for that.
Of coercion, financial exploitation, and identity manipulation. Allegations, to be clear, allegations. Now, the investigation was sparked in part by Netflix's explosive docuseries, Escaping Twin Flames, which exposed how group founders Jeff and Shalia Devine allegedly convinced followers to sever ties with family, shell out tens of thousands of dollars for coaching programs, and in some cases, undergo gender transitions, not out of personal conviction, but conform to the group's rigid spiritual framework. That was the main narrative or alleged narrative of this show. And just here's a chilling excerpt from the documentary.
What Jeff and Shalia do has nothing to do with love. It's control.
I questioned Jeff, and his reply was, "How dare you question your God?"
The image of Christ was actually me, the second coming, not Jesus, the first coming. It's insane what I ask of you for you to have my divine light.
Now, if you haven't seen Escaping Twin Flames, it's streaming now on Netflix. It is a wild, wild ride. But now, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel announced a formal probe into TFU. In a major development, search warrants were executed at multiple properties linked to the group as part of a coordinated effort involving both state and federal agencies. In a Facebook announcement, Nessel gave an update on the investigation, stating this.
Today, my office, along with local law enforcement, the Michigan State Police, and the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Inspector General, executed search warrants on 2 residences as part of our investigation into Twin Flames Universe. Twin Flames is a largely online organization with leaders based in Leelanau County, Michigan, that allegedly uses coercive control over its members, both in Michigan and across the United States. We believe that many of their actions may have been illegal, and we're asking for the general public's help in this investigation. Anyone with information about potential criminal conduct regarding Twin Flames Universe, its operators, Jeff and Shalia Devine, Christine and Jason Emmerich, its related organizations, including the Church of Union and the Mind Alignment Process, or their members, are encouraged to contact my office and may do so anonymously.
So investigators on the ground included special agents from the Michigan Department of Attorney General, U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Inspector General, Michigan State Police, and deputies from different...
I sent the Attorney General my channel. I haven't heard from her, but I did send it to her. Thought that was funny.
Different county sheriff's offices. So I want to invite on right now 2 special guests to help me break all this down. First, we got with us Gene Rossi, former federal prosecutor, criminal defense attorney, and Rick Ross, a cult expert, founder of the Cult Education Institute, and author of Cults Inside Out, How People Get In and Can Get Out. All right, so let's talk about it. Great to have you both here. Gene, why are all these agencies working together?
Oh, very simple. And I'm surprised the Federal Bureau of Investigation is not involved. The allegation, and I'm sure that's the allegation in the affidavits for the search warrants, and Rick can probably add on to this, is probably mail and wire fraud. They're arguing that there's a scheme to defraud people with a bait and switch. You join this, Twin Flames universe, if you will, and I'm going to make your life better. I'm going to find you a partner. You're going to get spiritual support, yada, yada, yada. And the fraud, wire and mail fraud, is probably when they get in the door, everything's different. You have to contribute. You have to give money. You have to do chores. You have to conform your life. And I was thinking about this about 10 minutes ago. Rick probably is very familiar with this. In November of 1978, in Guyana, Jim Jones had a cult. And hundreds of people literally, I'm not being facetious, drank the Kool-Aid, poisonous, and died.
I talk about that all the time. Almost 1,000 people drank the Kool-Aid and died. What I didn't know, and if you followed me, you probably heard this story, the first 6 people to get shot were journalists because they were going to tell the story of the cult because they had spent 2 days with Jim Jones in Jonestown in the island of Guana. And the congressman was killed and 6 journalists. And the other journalists there had to go and get their, like move their bodies, their corpses, and get the videotape to bring it back to the mainland so people could see what was going on. And it's horrific. And I when I heard about it, you know, I always knew growing up because it happened in the 70s. I didn't really remember it. I remember drink the Kool-Aid in Jonestown, but they're equating this as the new digital Jonestown. So it's so dangerous to think about how can you make people drink Kool-Aid, but they could. But that's what breaks my heart about the First Amendment is people that we rely on to tell the story were gunned down. And so once I went down that rabbit hole of really looking into cults and what happened at Jonestown, it was sickening. And you also want to say, like, well, how could these people have followed him? But I've been there. I know how these people, they're victims.
And a cult is something that draws people in. It consumes your life. And, you know, one person's cult is another's religion. So that would be their argument. But this is a massive investigation. I am surprised that the FBI is not involved.
Well, before I go to Rick real quick, so at this point, it's unclear what exactly was seized during the...
I don't know why he said that the FBI isn't involved. This is called, the story is called Under Investigation by the Feds. And I know when I spoke to the FBI, there's a case against him. So that was not clear to me why he's saying the FBI is not involved.
Searches or which specific crimes are being investigated, but we know that a judge found probable cause to issue those warrants. That is significant, right? That means something. There has to be some indicia. There has to be some basis here. There has to be something that they might be looking into, right?
Well, when you get a search warrant from a judge, you have to establish probable cause that a crime has been committed. And probable cause is about 40% certainty. Preponderance is 51%. Beyond reasonable doubt, it's like 90%. But probable cause is 40% certainty. So they've persuaded a jurist for these search warrants, I don't know the exact number, that their crime has been committed and that the location that they want to search and seize documents from is connected to that crime. So that's what they've proven with their affidavits. And I'm sure the affidavit is probably 70 to 100 pages long. And it could be just wire and mail fraud. Those are your bread and butter. It could be identity theft. It could be a host of money laundering. It could be a lot of things that we're not aware of right now. But you're right. Getting search warrants is a huge deal. And what they seized is probably massive. Documents, objects, things like that. And it's going to take time for them to review the search warrant material.
And we're going to get into what might be going on here. But Rick, over to you. How would you classify Twin Flames universe based on what we know? Would you consider it a cult? Would you consider it a high control group? Would you consider it something else?
I would consider it, in my opinion, a destructive cult. I think that Jeff Devine and his wife, Shalaya Devine, are charismatic leaders that have become an object of worship, and that they use coercive control to manipulate and exploit their followers. And based on the complaints about the group, it is a destructive group. People have been hurt very badly. Families have been hurt very badly. And the Devines live in a mansion. That's where they were raided in Michigan. So they have profited enormously from this online group. And what's interesting about it is what we're seeing is typical of what's going on today, which is people are recruited through social media platforms. They follow cult leaders on Twitter, on Facebook. They are indoctrinated through videos on YouTube, and they transfer money through Venmo and PayPal. So you can be a cult leader and work your cult remotely from your mansion in Michigan. And so I would think in the raid that has occurred, they're after the hard drives, they're after all the evidence to show the trail of exploitation that these two have wrought.
And look, the details of those warrants, they remain sealed, okay? But former members who spoke to Vanity Fair, they have painted a very troubling picture of life inside the Twin Flames universe, or alleged picture. Because let's get into this. They allege that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the group housed so-called boot camp students who were expected to run errands, perform unpaid labor for the organization, all under the guise of spiritual training. Beyond that, TFU has been accused of operating.
I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know if they're going to show Jess and Gabe. That would be interesting. Jess and Gabe, sorry, Brianna and Gabe. I need to get in touch with Jess Weber. Someone said that. I don't actually know who he is, but I should probably reach out to him and tell my family's story. I bet he would be interested in it. So thank you, whoever suggested that. This just popped up on my feed. I don't even know Jesse Weber.
Exploitative pricing models, which with coaching courses reaching up to $8,888 for top-tier access. Former members also cited pressure to make large financial donations. Gene, is that, forced labor? Is there a conversion aspect to this that you might be looking in terms of potential criminal charges?
Absolutely. And you got an amendment to the United States Constitution talked about involuntary servitude. So you may have a statute that enforces that amendment. But here, because the Department of Labor is involved, you can guarantee that one of the theories is that these individuals, these suckers, if you will, allegedly become members of this cult or this entity, and they become indentured servants, and they are pressured mentally, if not physically, to become essentially slaves. That gets into labor laws where you have to issue, not making this up, you got to issue salaries and W-2s, withholding. So that's why the Department of Labor is probably involved.
Rick, do you think the pandemic would play a role in making people more susceptible to joining high control online communities, if that's what this is? I mean, the larger question is, why do people join groups like this?
Well, absolutely. The pandemic caused people to be shut in, isolated. They would connect with people online. And these groups are trolling online. And no one deliberately joins a cult. It's really a bait and switch con. So what you think you're going to get, your forever spiritual partner, is not what you end up getting. What you end up getting is exploited, taken advantage of, which no one imagines when they first become involved. So you might be approached at a particularly vulnerable time in your life.
I'm a Cinnabunny after dark. I get infuriated with the support that Scientology gets and the mainstream media support of Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and how, how it's disgusting when you look under the covers of what they do to kids and to families. And when it came to light, no one cares. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's accepted. It's tolerated. And honestly, before I dealt with the cult, I supported them. I didn't really care. I'm like, well, that's just their religion. I didn't look under the covers. And once you look under the covers, I can't support it, especially after what I've been through. Ocean Beach Ave, he's on Law and Crime, started X like a week ago. Okay, sending him blessings for being on X, but I will reach out to him. And he works for News Nation. Okay, so he works with my friend Brian, who I haven't been able to get a hold of. So it's interesting. So what he's talking about now about vulnerability, we always said he picked a perfect person in Brianna because she's a strong-willed, fierce, independent woman who had a moment of weakness. So once you get that moment of vulnerability, she's locked in because she's so fiercely independent and stoic. And that's, they just get sucked in.
When you're going through something depressing, something stressful, and then online you see something that seems like an answer and that is deliberately deceptive to lure you in. And then you become submerged in the group. And what families are saying about Twin Flames universe is that when their loved ones become involved, they get cut off. people become socially isolated, embedded in the group. And if the Labor Department is involved with labor violations, what you're seeing is what I see over and over again play out in many groups called cults, which is you can make money off of free labor. If you have low overhead, you can run a restaurant, you can do a packaging subcontract, or you can just have people being your gophers, keeping everything running smoothly and not giving them really anything other than assurances and maybe some so-called spiritual counseling.
So let's talk about it, because according to Twin Flames Universe's belief system, it blends elements of Christianity with wellness coaching. And every person has this divinely appointed soulmate, their twin flame, who they're destined to be with no matter the circumstances. And after Jeff Ian and Megan Plant, so now we're talking about Jeff and Shalia Devine, met through a friend and connected through Facebook back in 2012, that's when TFU began. And they started with YouTube coaching videos, promising viewers they could find true love, just like the Devines had. Over time, the group grew into a full-fledged online business, offering tiered memberships, coaching, spiritual content. Packages can cost anywhere from $4,444 to $8,888, depending on the level of access. By 2019, Jeff claimed the organization was worth nearly $2 million. Their spiritual philosophy blends this kind of mysticism with Christian elements. In recent years, they've gone further, declaring themselves the second coming. Shalia is the mother Christ, Jeff the father Christ. And at the time they said this, their future daughter, who is not yet conceived, is the princess of all creation. As for this whole twin flame concept, the founders say that a twin flame may not even realize there's someone's spiritual match. That is a concept that has led to disturbing real-world consequences. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But Gene, again, going back to this, as we're talking about it, if we're potentially talking fraud or labor or coercion or labor, I mean, we just covered the Diddy case. Is this RICO? Are we also thinking potentially RICO? Again, we're speculating because we really don't know what they're looking at. But I have to ask this question.
Yes, academically, it could be RICO. What made Diddy's case unique is that he had a business that made a ton of money, allegedly, legitimately, through his.
This is interesting to me. It's also risky because I haven't watched it. So, but sometimes when I'm about to watch something, I go, I wonder if other people want to watch it. So that's why I do this. So I never know which way it's going to go. So we're going to continue with that. But I'm seeing some people are saying, let's see, Karina Pinky, you joined their Facebook group too. So someone else, I must have missed it. This Twin Flames Universe Facebook, I never joined because I don't want to give them the likes, but I used to. I crawled over every single platform, every single piece of content that they had, and it would be hours and hours of content that I watched when we didn't have contact with Brianna, and it was icky. It was icky. Hi, Young Black Economist. I see that you're here. Thank you for coming back and supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Oh, Hyperbole, you did that. You had the coworker who's in the cult. Yeah, I only really am active on his Instagram because I always wanted to see how much money he was spending and showing off, because that to me is appalling. At least have the decency to hide it and not flaunt. But their theory is, look at how we manifested this Rolls Royce. You can too. If you give me more money, you'll get money. That's the thought process. It's crazy. Let's see what else they have to say.
Is a singing ability.
This is 31 minutes, so we got about. I'm always obsessed that people are bored watching this, so I want to make sure you're up to date. We have about 14 minutes left.
And all that. And in the Diddy case, they were trying to put a square peg in a round hole because the entity that he allegedly was using to do his various predicate acts, it was legal and legitimate and made money on its own. Here, I'll call it Twin Flames. In the Twin Flames organization, the organization itself is an enterprise that we allegedly are thinking is corrupt. So ab initio, at the beginning, the organization is corrupt. And Rick hit the nail on the head. This is all about the con. On paper, online, on paper, in their tax filings, it looks like a legitimate organization. But as these people enter the door, it becomes the con. So everything they've promised online is belied by their actions and the way they're treated when they get through the door. And that's where the rubber meets the road. You knock on the door, you think you're going to go to heaven, figuratively, and absolutely going to hell because you're losing your money, you're losing your identity.
Yeah, Gene, does it all come down to consent? If I was an able-bodied, willing participant, is all consent? There's no crime here?
Absolutely, because as I said, I think before, one man's cult is another man's religion.
That's what the police said to us when we called. Although they did say we've gotten a lot of calls about it. We've referred. They referred me to the FBI because they had a case, but they said when they knocked on the door, they asked Brianna, "Are you here on your own free will?" "Yep." "Are you being abused?" "No." And so that at that point, what can they do? That's what gets you, right? And it is a MLM. Exactly. But with an MLM, I always feel like, it's sort of like Bitcoin too. That's an MLM in a dangerous one in my point of view from a cyber perspective. But when does it run out? Like, and who's left holding the bag?
Religion,
Right.
There are religions out there, I'm not going to mention names, where we think it's a strange religion or challenging, but the people enter that religion and they consent to it. And those are legitimate. You got First Amendment protections. I may not agree with it, but a cult's a different thing. A cult is based on and survives only by deceit and exploitation. And that's the goal of those search warrants. Was there deceit and exploitation?
Right.
And that's where the rubber meets the road. And Rick mentioned their mansions. Prosecutors love when fraudsters, RICO people, allegedly make a ton of money off of their fraud. So that mansion, if there is a conviction, is going to be forfeited, and that's a gold star for the prosecutors if they get a conviction.
Rick, does what I described, some of these elements, are these characteristic of other groups you've seen before?
Well, sure. It's a parallel to Keith Raniere and NXIVM. And as you may know, I testified as a fact witness in the criminal trial of Keith Raniere, and he did the same thing. It was all about coaching. It was all about a course curriculum, very expensive courses, but it ended up becoming coerced labor, coerced sexual favors. And Keith Raniere is now serving a 100+ year sentence in federal prison. So he was convicted of racketeering, sex trafficking, fraud, and other members of the group also served time in prison. So this is nothing new. And what you see is coercive control. That is coercing members by creating unreasonable fears about leaving the group, by intimidation, by gaslighting and manipulating them, by isolating them from their family.
Keith Raniere is part of the NXIVM. They just said that, but I wanted to reiterate that because the HBO documentary, The Vow, was about NXIVM, and it featured Sarah Edmonton and her husband, Nippy, who are the whistleblowers in that cult. And they have a podcast called A Little Bit Culty, and I was on it, and they were gracious. They actually helped me before we got Brianna out. I contacted them and said, "I need help. Can you help us?" And they were able to give us ideas, coaching, guidance. They were so open. And then when Brianna was out, they were so happy and joyful, and they had me on. So if you're interested in the full story, it's A Little Bit Culty. I'll drop it. I'll drop a link, and if you want to listen to it, it's a really good summary in an hour of what our family went through. Because in the documentary, you get our story. There's 3 episodes, and you get 10 minutes in those 3 episodes. So it's a 30-minute. It's hard to tell 7 years worth of hell in 30 minutes. So it's A Little Bit Culty, and I'm going to look at my phone and give you
He's an old friend, so that they become dependent upon the leaders to think for them, make value judgments for them. And in this particular group, the promise of having a spiritual partner or your twin flame became very difficult because there were many women, not many men. And they began to tell some of the women that they needed to become men in order to fulfill their twin flame, destiny. And some of these women left the group, and they said, quite frankly, "I'm not a lesbian, and I'm not interested in changing my gender." And others went along with the leaders and conformed to whatever they wanted. So this is a very twisted kind of thing where people really were hurt and damaged and experienced personal injury and family estrangement.
So TFU's relationship guidance, it has certainly raised additional red flags. Why? Because in one 2017 video, Jeff Devine instructed members to seemingly pursue their twin flames regardless of interest or existing relationships.
So your twin flame may appear to be with someone else, but it's just a lie, and you can choose differently.
This kind of advice has reportedly led to some serious legal consequences, supposedly, because as Vanity Fair reports, it wasn't uncommon for members to chase their so-called twin flame despite clear rejection or even legal boundaries. In one case, a woman recounted in a 2017 Facebook post that her supposed twin flame called her a stalker and threatened police action Just 2 weeks later, she was on a bus to another country planning to relocate near him. And there was a response to the group that said, sounds like you're being guided to be closer and connected to your twin flame. God supports you on your next big step. And one of the most troubling allegations involves TFU's handling of gender identity. You see, multiple former members, especially women, said they were told they were actually divine masculine energies in female bodies and were allegedly pressured to change their names, their pronouns, their appearance. There were even those who began medical transition. One such member, Victoria Bonilla from Alabama, recalled being paired with another female follower as her twin flame, despite the fact that she identifies as straight. And when she expressed her discomfort, her coach allegedly insisted that the other woman was actually a man in spiritual form. She told Vanity Fair, I wasn't a lesbian. Now, Gene, based on the guidance that Jeff Devine gave, encouraging people or allegedly encouraging people to pursue someone regardless of their interest or relationship status, could that, rise to some sort of level of criminal conduct? What is the legal line from your perspective as you listen to this?
It all depends. With any scheme, you have to compare what is promised and what is actually delivered. So if they're promising this, if they are promising this, even though it's crazy, I think it would be hard to prove a crime. It's just crazy. But if they're saying in their online literature and all that, something that's contrary to what they're trying to get this individual to do once they enter the door and they face the con, then you have fraud. And if there's money transacted to get this service, if you will, this counseling, that would be part of the fraud.
Rick, there's always not always, but it seems in a lot of times in these cases, there is a sexual component, right? And it also, if you're talking about, hey, listen, I can find you your soulmate. That is such an attractive option. Everybody's looking for love. So you take something, if these allegations are true, you take something, supply and demand, people are wanting to find a soulmate and allegedly exploiting that. But also there's always it seems to be a lot of times a sexual component. What are you taking away from that?
Well, I think that the women involved were people that were looking for someone to marry, someone that they could have a lifelong relationship with. It wasn't so much a sexual thing as it was a sense of fulfillment in marriage, family, etc. And of course, the group misled these women in multiple situations. And they told them one thing, and then when they became involved, they switched and said another thing. So in that sense, it's a bait and switch con. But I think there was an underlying feeling of having a fulfillment in a loving relationship that they promised these women. And I think there are many people, most of us, want to have a loving relationship. And here was a group that said they had a way, that they had a path to fulfilling that. And so many of these people were victimized by just the simple desire to have a loving relationship.
And as this legal investigation into TFU continues, it presents challenges. So the group operates almost entirely online. It complicates maybe jurisdictional questions. I'm going to ask Gene about that real quick. But it's a combination of spiritual teachings, for-profit coaching, blurs the line between what's considered religious freedom, consumer.
Couple of comments on that. Cybercheck, have you played the interview? The interview with a little bit culty, Ocean Beach, I have, if that's the one you're talking about. I didn't replay the Jess Machado one. I'm not sure because I might have lost the track. But if you're talking about the little bit culty, I did it in December. I may replay it. I just don't want to bore people with the same content, but I probably only had 20 people on the live. So it might be good to replay that. Hey, Funeral Lady, it's good to see you. Just so you know, at the beginning of the show, I put your channel up and asked people to sub to it. So you'll see some of that happening. So, and if you haven't subbed to Funeral Lady and Bar Harbor Beauty, go back in the chat when this is over. I don't know if everyone knows this, but you can always review the live comments by going to the comment section. It takes like 10 minutes after the show ends. Go back to the show, look at the comment section, swipe left, and it says live comments, and you'll see the live comments. And I put Funeral Lady and Bar Harbor Beauty's YouTube channel because we're going to support them. Mrs. Pev1, is it Pev1? I love your show. I want to thank you for speaking with my niece. She loved you. Oh, I'm so happy. Tell her if she didn't catch the Thursday show, she inspired me to just do a show so I could tell people, go back and watch it. It was with my sister Lisa, and it was about our cybersecurity careers and how you can get into cybersecurity and the different doors. It was really show one, the foundation. And as I mentioned on that show, there's a bunch of different branches and that will come as a result of that show that we'll focus on. It was a real niche show. I know it's not for everyone, but I do get a lot of questions about how do you get into cybersecurity? What is it that you focus on? So she was delightful, by the way. You lied? Yeah, so there is a selection bar, Harper. I'll show you in the YouTube studio under user management for community. You want to make sure that it's on, replay is on, because you can, I think maybe the default is off. We can go over that though. I can help you with that.
For exploitation. And TFU said the allegations were misleading, that in a public statement it defended itself. It reads, "We take seriously recent allegations implying we wield inappropriate control over our community members. After a careful review of both media coverage and recent productions, we are saddened that so much effort has gone into taking swipes at an organization and community founded on love and mutual respect. The allegations levied against Twin Flames Universe not only distort our true aims, methods, and curriculums, but also misrepresent the autonomy of our community members, who are free to engage with our resources as they see fit. We are committed to confronting these allegations in an open and accountable manner." Now, in a video from May of 2025, the Divines double down on their narrative, saying they were just trying to explore and collaborate with their members.
The spiritual work that we share with you guys has real spiritual results.
As Twin Flame spiritual guru, we were helping students do that on an individual basis at the pace they were asking. And guess what? This was new, not just to us, but to literally planet Earth. No one else was doing what we were doing ever. This was experimental and exploratory, and it wasn't a Jeff and Shalia do as we say, as the media likes to portray it.
Yeah, I know.
This was a collaborative endeavor.
Now, Gene, you hear that defense, but also you're looking at this investigation. What do you take away from that? And also, was I right? Are there jurisdictional issues? Are there certain issues that complicate a potential prosecution?
The beauty of a conspiracy, and obviously the couple are at least two conspirators. And here's what I'd like to know: does a search warrant reveal, multiple conspirators? But the beauty of a conspiracy is that wherever any overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy occurs, you have venue. So if there's a victim in California, there's a victim in Alabama, Florida, if there's a victim in any of the 50 states, including the territories, and DC, that would be a basis for jurisdiction. It sounds like any interest would be with the U.S. Attorney's Office at the federal level in Michigan if they had the energy and passion to prosecute this. Right now, it's at the state level. Right now. And the Department of Labor for the United States is involved. There's a possibility it may rise to a federal case where the U.S. Attorney is handling it because of the information obtained by the search warrant. One thing I would look for in the search warrant is, one, how much money they're making, where is it going, other than the mansion? And number two, you want documents, emails, communication, text messages that show the big lie, show that this couple knows it's a fraud and knows that they're conning people and they're relishing it. If there's evidence to that, allegedly, this couple's in very deep trouble.
Rick, look, there's no charges as of yet. They are innocent until proven guilty. A lot of this is just allegations. But their defense, this idea of free choice, collaboration, in your experience, do groups use that language a lot of times?
Well, of course. And the fact that there's a spiritual, religious overlay, they're going to say, well, look, this is a matter of faith. They had faith. Therefore, it wasn't fraud. They were true believers. They consented to be in the group. They participated because they wanted to. They gave us their money as donations or for coaching, etc. But the reality is, to what extent did they misrepresent themselves? And also, what kind of coercion did they use? And could you see a pattern of undue influence?
There's Lenny from the couch. She says, can we find out how much money they earn? Yeah, why can't we, Sister Lynn? Why isn't that something we should be able to have access to? I guess not. I don't know. From a church perspective, can't we look at their taxes and figure that out? Lynn, what's going on with Nancy? I hope that's my news correspondent. It's your responsibility to interrupt any live broadcast with anything going on. So I should always just send you a link. That's what I'll do, Lynn. Every time I go live. That's great. Every single time I go live, I'm going to send you a link. And that way you can come on in an instant with anything that's breaking, especially critical with the Olympics starting. I'm going to need you to get on that. I need to know all the ins and outs of who's winning. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I have a news correspondent.
Is that the people involved were not acting in their own best interest, but consistently in the best interests of Jeff and his wife, the Devines. I mean, were they in fact being manipulated? And I think when you see people again and again doing something that doesn't benefit them, but benefits the leaders, there is an issue of undue influence. And so I think that this is going to play out in that way. And to what extent did the Devines coerce them? Did they threaten them with some type of spiritual retribution, or that they would forever be lost and never find love, and so on? Did they make them really afraid to leave? And in that sense, did they coerce them in order to exploit them?
They do, yes.
Well,
Yes.
the Attorney General's office has opened a tip line, urging anybody with information to come forward. And with escaping twin flames sparking national outrage, this case has become more than just an investigation. It is reigniting a conversation. So with that in mind, let me just leave you with another clip from that Netflix special.
How much power have I given to these people?
Dissolve the illusion and recognize that you're actually a man.
I felt like I didn't recognize myself.
He already took my daughter. If anybody should be scared, it should be him.
I will never stop fighting for my sister to come home.
Man, the tea is now being spilled.
And as the investigation unfolds, one thing is clear. In the search for love and meaning, some found something maybe far more dangerous. We'll see what happens next. Gene Rossi, Rick Ross, thank you.
That was Louise Cole, the mom, that said, man, the tea's being spilled, or whatever she said. She came on my show. So that was one of my early shows, maybe my third. If you get an opportunity to go back and watch Louise Cole's story, she was phenomenal. Her story is that her daughter, who's a twin, her daughter's Paula. She's a twin to Stephanie. I kind of screw up the names, but I think I have that right. And Paula joined 6 years ago, right around the same time as Brianna, a little after. And she has not seen or heard from her since. She had a great relationship with her twin's kids, with her mother. She got sucked in. She got assigned to a woman in Switzerland who was, again, a male trapped in a woman's body. And they just lost contact. I mean, they kept trying to reach out to her, and they went back and forth. And they actually they were one of the families that was sued by Jeff and Shalia, because they were very litigious when families would speak to Vanity Fair or any of the articles, and they would sue them, and they would never get anywhere with the lawsuits. But poor Louise had to hire, it cost her, she said, I think $30,000. She had to protect herself. So, Stephanie joined the cult. See, damn it. Thank you, sister. I always get that wrong. By the way, if you're going to be my news correspondent, you can't watch Bravo. You got to get me the news, honey. You got to get me the news. So Stephanie joined, not Paula. I'm sorry, Paula. I always get those wrong. And I spoke to Paula in the beginning of all of this, so I should know better, but for some reason. But that interview with Louise was touching. She's so eloquent, and she's been through hell, absolute hell. And she never gives up. And if you're out there, Louise, I'm sorry I screw up everyone's names, but you're amazing. And I'd love to have her back on. So this was the direct result last week when I showed you Avery Haynes and Keely. Keely was the woman who was the COO who felt horrible because she had drawn people in and was part of it. And she, at the end of the documentary, they said she turned over all of her hard drives and notes and a lot of information that was directly related to this raid. And so we thank you, Keely. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Yeah, Hyperbowl, send me an email. You're obsessed with cults and how they control people. Yeah, you know what? You should also go watch Kobe Ryan's show. He did a great job talking about this yesterday. But it's heavy too. So I recognize that. So what I've been doing is I've just been weaving it in and out of other stories that we do, because in the beginning it was cult. Quite honestly, it was heavy, and it was a lot for us to go through as a family. Cyberchick Boston, are you friends with my favorite reporter? Not yet, Brian Enton. I sent him a email to News Nation, and that's the other thing. I'll reach out to Jesse, but it's hard to get email. And I don't know if everyone checks that. I don't check my DMs. So sometimes it's really hard. I'll post it again. It's in the notes. but I'll post it. It's in my description. If you go to any content creators, there's an option for you to list your email. You just select the email icon, which is an envelope. But I will post it again. Let me check and see if it's still snowing. Oh gosh, it really is snowing out a lot. I had to shut all my shades because with the snow and the sun, it was just the glare in here was really frightening. But I hate having all my shades. I feel like I'm in a cave. I'm in my command center, and it's dark and dingy, but my dog's here, so that's good. I follow Brian. Let's go see if Brian has anything. Let's go over here and see. Hold on. Let me get out of here. Let's see if Brian has an update on Nancy. Let's see what his last one is. He's my go-to for everything. Let's look at the car being towed. Hold on. Don't start yet. I haven't started yet, Brian. I haven't loaded you. Let's see. This I saw. It's real quick, but what the heck? We'll watch it together. Did I put it? I didn't load it. I didn't think I did.
They just towed the car. So we have this shot. Mo got the shot. And you can see.
Why do they need the car?
Where's the tow truck? Is that?
That SUV's in
Point to
front
it
of
right there. Point to it.
Jesus.
Okay, you can see the SUV on it. So Mo had a closer look when it was there a second ago. And he says it's the same SUV that was in the garage. And you could tell that it was blue.
So it must be her.
And Mo got this shot with his drone.
Does she drive?
So anyway, I know it's blurry, but that's the tow truck leaving. This is the scene out here right now. Everybody got moved back and they closed the whole area off. I was showing you earlier, and FBI is still out there at Nancy Guthrie's house.
Please go follow Brian.
We're all just kind of back here.
And like his YouTube so he doesn't get mad at me for sharing it.
Okay, so they just towed the car.
Okay,
So we
that was
have
nothing.
this
He didn't
shot.
really
Mo
show
got-
anything. And then we have to check on our friend Skip, who I was watching at the beginning. How's Skip doing? Does anyone know? I always type in Skip and it's not Skip, it's the isolation. Okay, hold on. Oh, hey, I just learned something. I didn't know that you would see me changing out like that. Okay, so that's cool. I thought it would stay on Brian Enton. So I just learned that. So if you're new to YouTube, as you're clicking around, if you're still sharing, that makes sense, right? It's a screen share. So duh, but that's okay. He's not talking. Should I say hi? I'm never sure what to do with hi, Random Brockton Whore. It's so good. Thank you so much for giving me a like and share. It's great to see you. Should I tell Skip we're watching? I always feel like I feel creeped out. Like I don't want to. I feel like a creeper. I'm not creeped out. I feel like a creeper. So I'm just gonna say hi from Cyber Chick Austin. Bye. Okay, I'll do that. Is that weird? Make sure you go over. See, a lot of times he's not saying anything, but I guess it's because he streams all the time. Oh, wait a minute. They're saying hi to us. Okay, that's fun. But I don't know. It's not weird. It feels weird. Hi, Nurse 60. It's so good to see you. Ocean Beach Ave. It's funny. I wrote in his comments, who called to say she didn't show up to church? Yeah, who? Oh, and he reported on it, and it's true. Yeah, who did call? Was it I'm assuming it was the church. He's probably bored. Yeah. Oh, Kelly, you're talking about, I went out of order. Kelly's talking about it's odd that, yeah, so did she, so her not going to church, I don't know, the whole church thing was confusing to me. You thought it was odd that she, yeah, about Nancy. I'm confusing two things. What is Skip doing? Let's go back. Nene got a notification. Oh my God, that's so good. All right, so how many people does he have in here? Okay, that was a heavy sigh. Yeah, I knew you were talking about Nancy. Okay, I have to stop. I don't know. Oh, he just went on. He was just talking about me. Hold on.
Chick, I know who you are. I know who Cyber Chick is. I don't know if I saw some of your. I think you had a live on or something. You were doing a live. I was checking out all the lives, and I saw yours. Is that right? You do some lives, Cyber Chick?
I'm typing to him, sorry.
You're doing a live right now?
I am.
Me too. What's your live about?
Oh boy.
Let me go check out your live here. Oh, I'm up on the live.
Yeah, you are. Here, I'll take you down
Hear
if
what
you
you're
want.
saying here.
Okay, you want me to tell you what my live is about? Hey, how are you? It's good to see you. That's so funny. Can you hear me, Skip? You want to join and say
Good.
hi to everyone?
Good to see you.
Yeah, so I started my channel in October. I'm a small channel, and our family was part of a cult, Twin Flames Universe. So we sort of check in and talk about that bit. And I also talk about cybersecurity because that's my profession. And we talk about protecting people online. I have a big family, so I have family members that come on too. So we like to talk about current events, and we always check in to see how Skip's doing and say hi. I also mod for Jess Machado. Because, you know, I have no idea how this works if he hears me. We have quite the cult story. So if
I
you,
do think I saw you at Jess's.
yeah, so if you're ever bored, check out my cult story. There's a couple of different ways. I've done a couple of views on it. And it might be a good chance for you to educate your channel on things to look out for when you are online and searching online for coaching or life advice. There's a lot of scams that could ultimately take you down a dark path of the cult. The cult specifically is Twin Flames Universe that I'm talking about. Yeah, my chat is rooting for you. Cyber Chick Boston. That's my channel.
I don't know if I should call her. If I should call her Cyber Chicken or.
It's
or
not
Cyber
chicken. It's not chicken. It's chick. Cyber Chick, because I'm a chick. I'm not a chicken. Although Zach calls me chicken, but that's the problem. I'm Cyber Chick Boston. You can call me Cyber Chick. It's okay. I should rethink the whole chick thing. It's just that I was a cyber chick my whole
Roger
life.
that. I probably will call you Cyber.
That's fine. You can call me Cyber, no problem. Well, great. We're just checking in on you. I'd love to, anytime you want to, you're bored and you want to talk about the cult and what we went through, I can share my story. That's what I'm all about, just sharing awareness for it and also spreading YouTube love for all the small channels out there. We are too. That's amazing. I'm going to hit you up. Thank you, Skip. We're going to sign off, but thank you so much. I don't know what to do. He's great. Isn't that great? He's so nice. I'm definitely going to hit him up and see you. Bye. Sorry, shut him off. That's the problem. I don't really know. We're not intruding, Skip, but I feel like I'm intruding because you're in your room and we're a spy. I feel like I'm a spy. I think that's it. Why do I have such a hard time with thinking I'm spying on him? Do you guys feel like you're spying on him? He's so sweet. All right, so let's collab with him. What do we want to do with Skip? Well, we always know where to find him. So maybe I go on and tell my cult story. And you know what? Since I've had questions about what he's doing, maybe he can share his journey. We're both small channels. I like this. Okay, I have an action item. Follow up with Skip. Yeah, and maybe we just, the two of us, get on. I have to figure out how to do that, how to share, set it up so I'm streaming mine and he's streaming his. I don't think it's, I know everyone is spying on him. I think there's a delay, so I think it's awkward. Everyone is spying on him. It would be fun to ask about his cybersecurity. I know then he'll probably want me to come and I know he's on camera. I know. Why do I feel funny? Yeah, there's a delay, so it's funny. It's kind of funny. How big is his channel? Let's go look. I'm not going to go back on, but I just want to look. Oh, he's got 15,000. Holy shit. He's got a lot of, he's a big channel. I'm a small channel. Yeah, so there was a delay, so that was awkward. But how sweet that he gave us a shout out. And I'm going to email him. I'm assuming I can get his email from someone. That would be fun. Yeah, we're interested. I want to hear his story. So I don't really know his story because every time I peek in, every time I spy on him, he's doing his desk. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what, does he have a time where he goes online and talks? I don't know. He grew fast, right, Funeral Lady? Because there was an article. Brandon, you watch him sleep? Oh, I will never. I have a hard time just doing that while he's eating. Look at you, feel my energy. I have a lot of energy. I do feel energy. I am empathetic and I'm energetic. I have a certain energy. And people who worked for me have said, don't mistake Cheryl's empathetic ways in her kindness with not tolerating bullshit. Because I also have zero tolerance too. So it's kind of interesting. You'll see that from me from time to time. Don't assume just because I'm kind and empathetic that I can be stupid or, that you can take advantage of me. And don't take advantage of my family either. So I like popping in when he's sleeping. Oh, are you guys sleeping with Skip? What? I'm freaking out. You guys sleep with Skip? Do I have to tell my husband? Honey, we're sleeping with a man. I don't know. To mute him to talk, chat, and not hear him snore. He snores. Oh my God, this is getting personal. What else? Tell me more. All right, you guys know a lot. So I don't know a lot about Skip. I just pop in and then I get nervous and I leave. So I haven't watched him. And then he goes in the bathroom and I'm freaked out and I leave. Skip set up his whole channel for this. That's how he stays sane, makes money. He had like 30 followers. Jess found him and got all the followers because she's amazing. And now I haven't read a People magazine interview on him, but I will. Let's just say Jess is like that. That's what she does. She gets so much hate on the internet, but you know what? How many other content creators support their mod and people in the channel who are starting out? Do you ever hear people saying, go sub to this person, they're starting out? She just promotes the underdog, and I think that's wonderful, and I hope to do that myself. Wait a minute, he does karaoke? Okay, so we need to know more about him, Rhonda, so I'll have him on. He can, oh my God, it'll be fun. He sounds like he's nice, and he knew who I was, so that's good. Just so you guys know, I get up on Sundays, pour my coffee, and I spend like 45 minutes on my channel. And I'm not live, but I go through and I email. Like I email Turtle Boy, I email Brian Enton, I email Justice Serve, Defense Diaries, and then I emailed who did I email? Corey Colby. I emailed yesterday. I DM'd him. So that's what I do, because that's what you have to do if you want to get on other people's channels and spread your story. I mean, if I wasn't so invested in getting the cult story out there, then I wouldn't spend that much time on it. But it's important to me. And what I've realized is, like, I've told the story on Jess and Broken Baker, but there's a lot of crossover. I'd like to get into a different demographic who's never heard of it. I really want to tell the story to people who don't know. Nothing to hate in my book. Oh yeah. Jess, you talk about Jess Erin? I know. Like, people hate her and it's so funny. That's the other thing. I think if you're doing a YouTube, just show up authentically. Sometimes if you show up and you're just super, la, 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 or whatever, people get, in my opinion, people will get drawn to you, but eventually they'll see through, like, that's not authentic. How do you really feel? So, yeah, I get this. Ocean Beach says, I have to say my two sons in 20s absolutely do not like Skip because they can't believe he chose to not see his kids for a year for this. They don't think he should do that. I was judgy at first. But I want to hear his story, because sometimes we don't know the whole story. I wasn't so much even thinking of the kids because I don't know his kid's age or how many he has, but I was thinking about, this sounds like a lot of work for the wife. Does she do the laundry, and does she do the household things? And who's shoveling the snow out there? Because I'm not doing that. I rely on my husband so much. I wouldn't, if he was in a room for a year, I'd be like, where's the paper towels? What's happening? Yeah, so I get it. Yep, I get it. Hyperbole, that's so funny. So I initially the way I became Jess's mod is I didn't like her. So I liked her, I subbed to her. And because my rule of thumb is if I'm going to watch someone's content, I have to give them a sub, because that's just what you do. If you like someone, you sub, because they're giving you something and entertaining you. That's the least you can do. It's free. So I subbed to her. Then she'd say something that pissed me off. I'd unsub. I did that 4 times before I finally wrote to her in a DM on Twitter, because I wasn't listening enough to know that she blasts her email and cell phone all over the place. And then she read my letter on a show that I was watching, and it was really funny. And then she invited me on, and the rest is history. So I will say I was one of those people too that misjudged her and maybe was a little judgmental. And that's something I'm working on so that I don't repeat that. And I learn. So I actually played on one of my shows in December, I replayed her reading the letter. It was really cringy, but it was funny. And then after that, in her reaction to it, she was in the studio, so it was a while ago. And then the next Saturday, she had me on in her closet as a guest, and we talked about the cult. So we didn't talk. I had misinterpreted some of her words about stay-at-home moms, and as a woman who had I worked. I had a profession. I was a professional my whole life, and my kids are my life too. And we had a great family life, and they're out of the house now. But anyways, long story short, we just had a difference of opinion, which is okay. Everyone can do whatever makes them happy. I unsubbed after we're her favorite kind of people. We're the ones that just don't jump right in and blindly follow her. Read the letter. Can we see it? Do you want me to show you that one? I can read the letter if you want. Do you want me to? Let's see. So I don't want to. Should I replay Jess doing the letter? Because her audio was a little bad. It was in the studio. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Geez, which one was it? I don't even know. Give me 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm verklempt. It was in her studio, so it would be on her. What show is that called? That is called the Jess Machado Show. Okay. Hold on, let me go to her playlist. She has it all organized. It's very good. The Closet. Oh my God, that is so funny. Bunny After Dark, JMS. Okay. Full playlist. Let me see. Which one was it? Season 2. I hate to not be organized, so maybe I'll do it another time because I don't see it off the top. Hold on 1 second. Which show was it? Season 2, episode 1, maybe? This might be it. Hold on. Bear with me. All right, you guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to mute so that you don't hear. I found it. Hold on. I don't know how I found it. It's crazy that I found it. So her audio sucks. This was before she was all tech savvy and had this great equipment. So just bear with me. Okay. We love to improvise. This is fun. She's going to be, so to set the stage, by the way, I have permission to share this. I hate that Jess's number is on this, but it's on her channel and she didn't take it down. So she'll forgive me because I've talked to her about sharing this, so she wouldn't mind. To set the stage, I had listened to her show that Wednesday night, and she was talking about women should be in the kitchen, and she was promoting trad wives, and it just triggered me because that's like a trigger for me. And so I wrote in the chat, like, that's not really nice for women who are professionals. And the chat, you bunnies attacked me, and I felt really attacked and I felt bad, but I was just stating so then I kind of we were going back and forth in the chat. Probably not my favorite. Okay, here's a topic. Oh, I love my sister, Deb. She's so funny. I love you, Deb. Okay, so we're going to listen. It's not on the exact point, but and our audio sucks, but that's okay. We'll get through it together. Let's see if this is it. I don't know where I started.
Doesn't have a name, it just says wireless caller. I pick it up. I go, hello. And it's Auntie Deb. It's Jimmy. Never talked to Jimmy before. I don't have Jimmy's creators on because I was so hell-bent on not being a Brian or a Mike, where you carry.
Hold on, we're getting there.
I think I accidentally caused trouble in your chat last night with you. That was not my intention. I will be honest. I have subscribed and unsubscribed to you a couple of times. Forget the political differences. That's never a reason for discord. But I seem to barely be really triggered when you say women should stay at home or specifically stay in the kitchen.
I saw that comment.
I'm an executive at blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say anything. I've always worked and raised 2 amazing sons with my husband. I was criticized a lot during that time for working, but my husband and I had the help of an extended family. My sons are adulting, happy, and most important kind, seriously good adults, which is so wonderful to be a part of. I'm a mentor to women in her field who are raising a family. I always... Yes. I always say it's completely different for every family and no one should judge anyone else's situation. When you make this blanket statement, it's insulting to those who can't or don't stay home. I would be better to say, in my situation, I prefer to stay at home. I don't know.
Oh, well, she said it to you.
I always try to make others feel bad. I always try not to make others feel bad about their choices. It would be like me saying everyone should work. Providing financial stability to pay for kids' colleges, weddings, and down payments on their first home should be a priority. I would never say that to anyone. We fought really hard for equal pay for the same job, and I'm passionate about it. I was trying to politely debate but was called a troll. I actually love your show. I finally said I have to subscribe to someone who can make me laugh so hard and keep me entertained on a Saturday morning for 4 hours. She said 4 in all caps, LOL. You're authentic, committed to your values, and loyal. All things I admire greatly. So maybe this is really a me issue with how to react to what you're saying. I will work on that. In other words, other news, can I share some information about me? She started a YouTube channel. And she's super small, only about 350 subs in 1 month. That's not bad. I'm really proud of it. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share my content. I started a new YouTube channel to spread awareness and to warn the public of the cult twin flame universe. We rescued our niece in the middle of the night, and it's been a harrowing 7 years. Our family was featured in the Amazon Prime documentary, Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames. We are the Boston family. Their compound was raided this past summer, so we do anticipate this is going to go to trial eventually. We will continue to bring awareness to help others from going through this experience. We are a very large, close-knit, extended family. My niece Googled how to find my soulmate in 2018 at the age of 25. This sent her down a rat hole into Twin Flames universe. Jeff and Shalia, not their original names, proclaim that they are the second coming of Christ and guarantee that they can help guide you spiritually to the afterlife while also finding your soulmate. They charge money for your online courses, coaching, recipes, MAP, which is Mind Alignment Process. They also required members to pay a portion of their salary and work for free. They encourage members to stalk anyone that they feel is their soulmate. Are you Googling it? Twin Flame Twin Flame, hold on. Twin Flame. Just do Amazon Prime documentary, Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames. They encourage members to stalk anyone that they feel is their soulmate, even if they were married or not interested. Eventually, this led to police getting involved, so they pivoted to matching members with each other. The problem came when 80% of their members were women. So next, they matched women with women based on their visions. Niece came to us in March of 2020 and said she was told to go to California because the vision came. She's supposed to be with a woman who is actually a man trapped in a woman's body. What? And they forced this woman to transition to a male. Erin is going to add you to the guest list. Let's talk about this. What a risk reading this chat live without me having read it before. Oh, Broken Baker. For the next couple of years, I used my background to investigate. I contacted this person's family, ex-cult members, police, FBI, and eventually a Vanity Fair reporter who published an article in 2022 got Brianna home, but it was a harrowing journey. And now we want to continue to bring awareness to, one, to bring them down, and to two, help other families avoid this group. The FBI raided their compound 2 months ago. We are still in contact with them and are helping. I was on Broken Baker this past Sunday and we had a great dialogue. If you are interested in learning more, I am. My YouTube channel is, if she's listening, can you jump and add your link? Feel free to drop it in the chat. And if you ever decide to write about a cult, give me a call. Sorry we fought. Sincerely, Cyber Chick Boston. Well, first of all,
Jesus, what
well, you got me. You got me. Put your channel, drop all of this stuff in the chat, and Erin will pin it. So let's go back. Let's go to the start of this. Very often when I give my opinion, I very rarely think about other people's opinion. And it's usually probably rooted in the fact that my opinion is usually not the common opinion, especially being a conservative in Massachusetts. And so I come from a deficit, you know what I mean? Like an exposure deficit, like,
see how I loved how she addressed it. I love how she, and I think you probably watched the show. So anyways, first of all, I'm cleaning my house on Saturday with earbuds in, and she's like, and I figured I sent it on Twitter, and it was a long ass DM. It was long, and I'm like, and I didn't hear back from her, and I'm like, oh, she doesn't care, whatever. But it made me feel better just to put it in writing, because the you chat came at me. You were like, she can say what she wants. If you don't like it, and it was just funny, and I just felt bad about it. But then once I sent her the DM, I didn't even think about it. And am I on TT? What's that? Hold on. Are you on Twitter? Are you asking? I am on Twitter. Is that TT? Sorry. Why is that making me? Why is that stumping me? So anyways, so I'm cleaning and all of a sudden she goes, oh, I've got an email. A DM. And I'm like, oh, she's going to read it out loud. The chat's, and so I just kept writing like, Jesus, what an email. That's me. Didn't know it was going to be read out loud, but it was fine. And then as soon as, TikTok, I'm not. So I'm sorry, that's TT, generational differences showing. From a cyber perspective, that's the worst app. So I'm not really supposed to be on it. I did create a profile thinking I would somehow get onto it, but I haven't found a way to do it without the Chinese government getting my data. And it's really frowned upon from my company's point of view to be on TikTok. So sorry. So because of that, I don't really think about it, but I wanted to get on it to get exposure. That's all I'm trying to do is get exposure. So back to Jess. The one thing I will say about Jess is as soon as she goes into that type of read, or you saw it with the Turtle Boy interview with Kane, you saw it when I was in the closet, her professional demeanor changes and she becomes focused and she's incredibly talented. And I could see why she's gotten to be, because we see her on the drives yelling at seagulls. We see different parts of Jess. As soon as she switched into that mode, the interview mode, it was fabulous. I had a great interview with her when she was in the closet, even though I was her closet guest and we talked about the cult. So that was how I was born. That's how I was born. I thought that was a good read. And yeah, her studio, the audio was terrible. I don't even remember it being that bad. Oh, I'm so glad, Erin, to hear that. She says, Erin says, it took me a long time to get comfortable saying even a peep in that chat. Jess is the reason I got the confidence to dive in. Yeah. And I get it, right? I get it now. People are very protective of Jess because it can go sideways. So, no, it's still the Chinese government. Well, yeah, it's our government too. I guess that's true. Yeah, so that was the letter, and then I went on a show, and then I hounded her, and it's funny because when I said this last time, the internet trolls made fun of me for it and said they took it, of course, out of context, but they'll clip this and say, "She's only doing it for subs," but that's the truth of it. I wrote Jess multiple times and said, you know, you need mods that can it happened after her daughter was doxxed of where she worked. And I was very consistent with her. I said, I want exposure. You need protection. And I do have cyber in my name. So I said, I don't want clout. I don't want a wrench. I just want to tell people to come join my small channel. And she said finally, yeah, after the daughter incident, I do need help. And that's all I do. I think I've only timed out 2 or 3 people who were coming after her in a mean way, but I don't do it. I know there's like mods fight and stuff. We don't. We're very low key, very low amount of maintenance and low visibility. We're just there to make sure that no one's being mean to Jess or doxing her family. And yeah, I asked her, it's kind of, I don't know why that's a bad thing. Why is it a bad thing to say, hey, can you, I'll mod for you and you give me visibility? Because then like Skip knows, he's seen my name. He probably didn't know where. I just want subs for my small growing channel and it's working. So let me read the chat. She's really good with interviews. You could see her switch into professional mode. This has been fun. Grammy Kisses. I really participate in large, fast chats. I could see too good and can't keep up. I can't see too good. So it is a really good chat, I think. I will tell you, Jess streams a lot. And I've gotten just a couple of pings of people saying, hey, I think you hid me or you're not seeing me. The truth is sometimes I don't respond and it's just because I'm walking my dog and I'm not looking at the chat. I don't really look at the chat. So don't take it personal. It does go really fast and so you'll miss people. The last thing I want is for someone to think I blocked them or that I am, have an issue with them. I have no issues. Half the time, I think I deleted someone. I was out with my sister and niece and I noticed the chat was on and sometimes I'll just keep it open just to make sure there's no trolls because you can kind of spot the trolls. And I accidentally put it in my pocket and then I deleted someone's comment and Erica Walsh was like, hey, Cyber Chick, what's going on? Did I miss something? And I'm like, no, I'm just not paying attention. And I accidentally deleted a comment that I shouldn't have. So don't take it personal. Sometimes accidents happen. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been almost 2 hours. It was a nice Saturday morning catching up with you all. I've been told I exit too quickly, so I'm just hanging out for a couple minutes. I don't know why you have to either, Wisaurus. Why can't I say, I don't even mention your name because I just don't even know what to do with that. WSI, so it's cirrhosis, W cirrhosis. Okay. I don't know why you have to filter. You would think the default would be all comments. The only thing I can think of is maybe for channels that have 100,000 chats, right? And YouTube is catering to big channels. Maybe all chat shouldn't be the default. So they only want to see the top chats. I get it though. It really makes it's really crazy. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I really love going live. If you missed the beginning, I'm always super early. I'm early. I treat it like work. So I'm always early for meetings. And I'm always sitting here going, why can't I go live now? I've got 5 minutes. Like, what am I going to do for 5 minutes? I want to go early. Thank you, though, for saying that. Jess might be stopping the Saturday show. Yeah, she does a lot. Right now, she's dress fitting with her daughter, who let her know last night on the closet show. Well, it wasn't the closet show. It was what are we calling that? The giveaway show that she had a dress fitting. I worry that someone may say hi to us. I know. That's what happened, honestly, this week. There were a few people and they were like, are you seeing me? Am I blocked? And then I went down a rabbit hole of how to look at your blocked. I didn't block anyone. I didn't have anyone blocked, but I was worried about it. Sister, are you getting snow, Debo? I'm getting pummeled. I can call you Wendy. Thank you. I will. Oh, yeah, I did. I deleted your comment and then I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This was fun. This was some fun. If you're thinking about going live, okay, so my next, okay, let's have a homework assignment. So first of all, I have to follow up with Skip and I have to follow up with Jesse. See how I teach? I treat this like work. I have to. That was another comment someone said. They're like, you can be casual. Like, no, I can't. I have to follow up with Jesse and Skip, and then you guys all have to find a female content creator that we can sub to. And I'm going to do a live show where we all share different streams. I mean, I know we're watching Lawyer, and Melanie Little and all of those, but let's find some different creators. I have a couple that I've been watching, and they're really fun to watch. And let's support them and build it up. Olivia. Hi. Oh, Deb says yes, boo. I love how wholesome and real your lives are. I don't know if they're wholesome, but they're real. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Saturday. Signing off. Take care.